welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Sarah Jacob. We have a packed show for you tonight. Let's get to the top story. At an employment drive or a Rozgar Mela, 75,000 appointment letters were distributed among government job aspirants. Prime Minister Modi called this a milestone and said that the centre was also working on multiple fronts to create maximum job opportunities for youngsters. But the opposition points out that these jobs fill existing vacancies. No new jobs have been announced, they say. And as NDTV's Priyanshi found out that even those who got appointment letters during the Mela say that these recruitments are not new.
The Prime Minister today launched the Rozgar Mela, a recruitment drive to fill up vacancies in 10 lakh government jobs in the next year and a half. In the first batch, appointment letters were given to 75,000 appointees across states.
आज माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी इस रोजगार मेले का कर रहे हैं शुभ आरंभ।
आज केंद्र सरकार आजादी के 75 वर्ष को ध्यान में रखते हुए 75,000 युवाओं को एक कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत नियुक्ति पत्र दे रही है। आने वाले महीनों में इसी तरह लाखों युवाओं को भारत सरकार द्वारा समय समय पर नियुक्ति पत्र सौंपे जाएंगे।
The Prime Minister has asked various ministries to conduct this recruitment in mission mode. The new recruits selected from across the country will join 38 ministries or departments of the central government at various levels such as the Central Armed Forces personnel, sub-inspectors, income tax inspectors, etc. But critics point out that these jobs fill existing vacancies. No new jobs have been announced. In fact, people who got appointment letters during the Rozgar Mela say that even these recruitments are not new.
जी ये ऑफर लेटर जो है मुझे एनबीसीसी की तरफ से एक ईमेल के थ्रू भी मिला था जो मुझे 30 सितंबर को मिला था बट कुछ रीजंस की वजह से मेरा डॉक्यूमेंट वेरिफिकेशन जो है वो अभी पेंडिंग है तो जब वो डॉक्यूमेंट वेरिफिकेशन जो है वो मेरा कंप्लीट हो जाएगा देन फाइनली वो मुझे जो जॉइनिंग है वो दे देंगे.
In many cases, such as those of the SSC graduate level exam, which is taken by almost 10 lakh students every year, the recruitment letters handed over now are for exams that were conducted years ago and vacancies announced even earlier.
जिसका रिजल्ट अभी ऑफर लेटर आया 2022 में, उनके फॉर्म भरे गए थे 2019 में.
One of the reasons for the recruitment process taking so long was the pandemic.
100 साल में आए सबसे बड़े संकट के साइड इफेक्ट्स 100 दिन में चले जाएंगे ऐसा न हम सोचते हैं न हिंदुस्तान सोचता है और न ही दुनिया अनुभव करती है.
The government says that the selection process for government jobs has now been simplified and expedited. SSC coaches say that the situation has indeed improved.
करीबन सर एक वीक के अंदर आंसर किया जाती है, उसका रिजल्ट प्रॉपर टाइम पे आ रहा है और ऑफर लेटर वगैरह भी टाइमली अब चल रहे हैं जब से एसएससी के चेयरमैन बदले हैं.
The Rozgar Mela comes at a time when unemployment has become a popular discourse, an issue used by the opposition to corner the government. The employment announcements also come ahead of the crucial Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh assembly elections. These 75,000 appointment letters and the promise of 10 lakh government jobs by next year are all filling up existing vacancies. It is a great step indeed, but experts believe that considering the growing population of India, more jobs need to be created. A McKinsey report says that by 2030, India needs 9 crore new non-farm jobs to absorb the growing workforce. In New Delhi with camera person Prem Singh, Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.
So the Prime Minister's big Diwali promise of 10 lakh jobs, just old promises in a new bottle. Joining us, Professor Santosh Mehrotra, an economist, visiting professor at the Centre for Development at the University of Bath in the UK, a research fellow at the ISA Institute of Labour Economics in Bonn, and a former professor of economics at JNU. We have Anupam, a founder and president of the Yuva Hala Bol. That's a movement for the youth about unemployment. And we have Kishore Subramaniam, an economist and political analyst who supports the BJP. Professor Mehrotra, to you first. Prime Minister Modi says the centre is working on multiple fronts to create maximum jobs. He said there's a job crisis the world over, but India has been protected from this crisis. He called today's employment drive a milestone. Should India be rejoicing at this milestone, or should we be a little skeptical, or not be complacent? What do the labour force surveys, the NSS surveys, the NSSO surveys say?
Sarah, all the words that were used today that you have just repeated are hyperboles, because the reality is that since 2016, just after COVID, the employment rate in this country, which is the share of the working age population which has work, has consistently dropped. It was 43% then, it is now 37% of the working age, which is one of the lowest in the world, because the world average for labor force participation rate is actually 61%. Point one. One of the arguments that we just heard was that, COVID side effects. The jobs are side effects of COVID. In 2019, before COVID, we had already a 48-year high in open unemployment rates. Youth unemployment between 2013 and 2019 had already quadrupled from 6% to 24% for the ages between 15 and 29. This is periodic labour force survey data of the Government of India, the NSSO. As far as government jobs are concerned, let's be very clear that the vacant posts currently across governments is about 1 crore, which is 10 million. And what are we being told? A government which has hardly offered any government jobs in the last 8 years is going to fill 10 lakh vacancies. 10 lakh vacancies out of 1 crore in the next 18 months. And what is this 75,000? As you rightly pointed out, these were, recruitments that had a process that was initiated in 2019, and we are now towards the end of 2022.
All right.
So this is all complete. All that is happening is 75,000 letters are being handed out. That's the real story.
All right, that's the real story. Kishore Subramaniam, hyperbole, headline spinning, playing with numbers. The fact is it's a slowing economy and we have a large working age population without jobs. Then you have this, as our report points out, SSC graduate level exam taken by 10 lakh students. Recruitment letters were handed over now for an exam that's conducted years ago. Is this the solution to the problem?
Okay, Sarah, good evening to my panelists and everybody who's watching the show. So let me point out some fundamental things. As my honorable panelist, Mr. Malhotra, said, that 75,000 letters have been given today. Everybody should remember that no government in the world can actually generate 75,000 jobs on a single day and hand over it. There are some pile-ups which happen from old part. So first point that you mentioned, that the economy is slowing. Let me point out multiple reports from the multiple agencies across the globe have clearly said one point, that India is an island nation among the growth prospects in terms of GDP. While the whole Western world is going into recession, it is only India which is growing at a GDP of 7% plus. Coming to the unemployment rate. Now let's understand, this is not a country which was governed by Party A for last 70 years. So if you look at the unemployment rate, as your panelist pointed out, that we are at an all-time low. Let me correct him on first point, that we are not at an all-time high. We are at an all-time low compared to the last 4 years. You need to understand that this was a global pandemic of a very serious nature and it disrupted the economy. I need to add that despite the fact that I give credit to the government, I need to add that demonetization did put a little bit of brake on that, but that was for the good. So what has been done in the last 60 to 70 years, it will take a lot of time to undo it. You also need to understand that the labor participation rate in India is far lower than the world. And there are multiple reasons for that, because nobody is getting into the why of it. For example, let's say if you look at a youngster who is in the employable range, as per the statistic in the NSSO, it's between after 15. But if you look at between 20 and 24, they do not need a job. At least the urban 20 to 24 do not need a job to eat a square meal. So that's one of the key problems. And the second problem is the available type of job versus the aspiration and versus the government job. These are totally different. So coming to the debate of tonight, 10 lakh government jobs, I don't think so. It can be created overnight. There will be some
so, okay. I want to bring in Professor Malhotra again, but first I want to correct you, because of course 10 lakh government jobs, because you have exams taken by 10 lakh students, so of course you can give 75,000 recruitment letters if you have 10 lakh students sitting for an exam. Obviously you can, so it's not okay. But okay, let me get in Professor Malhotra. Please respond over here. The government cannot claim that unemployment it has inherited so much. That's a problem. Unemployment, that was one of the points raised. I'm assuming the other report is that India overtook the UK when it came to the 5th largest economy in the world. Those are just reports that have come out this week. Quick response, Professor Malhotra, before I go across to Anupam.
In 2013, Sarah, there were 10 million unemployed. By 2019, that number had shot up to 30 million. Please remember, I am repeating now, which Mr. Kishore Subramaniam did not listen to. It had tripled. It had become 30 million open unemployed in 2019. And another 7 or 8 million were added during COVID. Only 7 or 8 million. So the problem is much deeper, much longer. And by the way, until 2013, from 2004, the number of jobs, non-farm sector jobs that were being created was 7.5 million per annum. That had fallen sharply from 7.5 million non-farm jobs per annum to 2.9 million jobs per annum in the non-farm sector. That is the reason why open unemployment was high. And final point, the world economy contracted in FY21 only by 3.1%. The Indian economy contracted by 6% because of bad management of COVID and because of the bad fiscal stimulus.
Okay, a lot. We can go into a whole discussion on that, but I want to bring in Anupam. Anupam, can we at least say that today we saw an acknowledgement from the Prime Minister of the job crisis in the country? Because, it's coming in a week after you had the RSS General Secretary also raising the issue of poverty. At least is there an acknowledgement of economic distress when it comes to the issue of job crisis?
Yes, Sarah, sort of an acknowledgement actually. I would rather say that it is now very clear that there is a realization in the government, in the top leadership, that there is immense angst amongst the unemployed youth in the country. And we have seen recent protests over railway recruitment and then the army recruitment, the Agnipath protests. These were not just specific issue-based protests, but it was rather a reflection of the accumulated anger because of lack of opportunities amongst the youth. So as far as this event called the Rozgar Mela is concerned, Sarah, I would say that it is unfortunate and hollow of this Prime Minister to make such an event out of a routine process. Handing over joining letters. So we have never heard of our Prime Minister handing over joining letters even for UPSC, IS, IPS officers who get recruited. So is the Prime Minister going to hand over joining letters over the next 1 year as per his claim of giving 10 lakh government jobs in the coming 1 year? And we all know, as per the government's own data, this government has not even been able to give 8 lakh jobs in the last 8 years. So this is data which was stated in the parliament where it was stated that over 22 crore applicants applied for various government jobs, and not even 8 lakh jobs were given in the last 8 years. But now the government is claiming, for that matter, promising that it will give 10 lakh
As
jobs.
our reporter has said that, vacancies are being filled. That would be low-hanging fruit, that you've had vacancies languishing for so long. Why not just fill them at least first? Thank you all. This is not the last we've heard on this. Let's remember again, reminder to all our audience, to our viewers, we have those elections coming up in those two crucial states. So thank you for joining us on Left, Right and Centre. I'm going to stay with election stories, and here's one. It's raising many eyebrows. The Gujarat Home Minister has announced that people in the state will not be fined for violating any traffic rules in the state. Now, this has triggered off a barrage of criticism from people in the state, outside the state, and it comes at a time when there are elections due by the end of the year in a state where the BJP hopes to retain its decades-old hold on the state.
It's the beginning of a long festive week in Gujarat, with people out on the streets doing last-minute shopping and driving to and from parties. Traffic will be heavy. Yet in a bizarre announcement, the Gujarat government has said no one will be fined for violating traffic rules from 21st October till the 27th.
આદરણીય મુખ્યમંત્રી શ્રી ભૂપેન્દ્રભાઈ પટેલના માર્ગદર્શનમાં એક નિર્ણય લેવામાં આવ્યો છે. આજથી ચાલુ થઈને 27 તારીખની રાત્રે 12 વાગ્યા સુધી ટ્રાફિક પોલીસ દ્વારા કોઈ भी પ્રકારનો દંડ ગુજરાતમાં ઉઘરાવવામાં નહીં આવશે.
Citizens question the logic of this announcement.
ट्रैफिक के रूल्स तो फॉलो करना है, लेकिन अभी इतना सारा बोझ है तो सरकार ने अच्छा किया कि भाई ट्रैफिक का जो भी दंड है वो नहीं लेते हैं, तो उसे अच्छा ही है ना.
ज़्यादा होगा और ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम होगी. मतलब अभी गवर्नमेंट आराम में है थोड़ा.
तो गुजरात गवर्नमेंट का निर्णय अच्छा है, लेकिन वो फॉलो करे तो अच्छी बात है.
There have been strong reactions from the opposition too, questioning the decision ahead of the state polls. AIMIM leader Asaduddin Owaisi has tweeted saying, in 2021, Gujarat saw 15,200 road traffic accidents, in which 7,457 people lost their lives. This Revdi bonanza by BJP Gujarat government is putting people's lives at risk. According to 2021 Gujarat government ambulance data, 2,360 road accident cases were recorded from Diwali to Bhai Dooj last year, that is from November 4th to 6th, 2021. Road accidents went up by 83.73% last Diwali. Four-wheeler accidents were up 162.96% last Diwali compared to the previous year. Two-wheeler accidents were up 95.39% last Diwali in comparison to normal days.
The Gujarat government's decision to not charge fine from those who violate traffic rules till the 27th of October in the state is not going down well even with the citizens of the state. This is perhaps one of the most bizarre decisions ever taken by any state government during the festive seasons. I am Tanushree Pandey reporting from Gujarat for NDTV.
So, instead of a fine for violating traffic rules, now violating traffic rules are just fine. Is this a dangerous Diwali dhamaka taking Revdi culture into fifth gear? Joining us on Left, Right and Centre, Ranbir Singh Patania, spokesperson for the BJP, and Rakesh Hirpara joining us from Surat, the spokesperson for the Aam Aadmi Party. Mr. Patania, to you first, what's the logic? You heard those numbers. 1.73 lakh people die in traffic accidents in India. Overspeeding is the largest cause. These are government report statistics. Why would you ease up fines? Why are we not making our roads even more unsafe?
If you kindly, Saraj, you kindly go through the statement of the Home Minister, it says it's not like that we will allow every violator to go scot-free, but those who make mistakes, they will be conditioned and they will be rather, we could say, they will be acclimatized, they will be asked, they will be requested to not to make mistakes. It is as good as we have been debating with regard to punishments also, the theory of retribution and theory of reformation also. Otherwise also, this is Diwali season, and Diwali season is the definer, is the demeanor of the Indian economic state. People start their financial year with Diwali and they end their financial year with Diwali also. So with a view to boosting better and greater activity in Diwali, it's my respectful submission to each and everybody. Please do not look it with straightened eyebrows and with over anxiety, we could say, skepticism. It's a move which is purely with a view to boosting the economic activity, the economic booster, boosting the economic activity.
Rakesh Hirapara, this is a boost, a move just to boost the economy, nothing more to it. It's not a move to the public in an election year. It's nothing above board. It's just a move to boost the economy.
And only for 6 days. Sorry, only for 6 days. Okay. From 21st to 27th. Only for 6 days.
Mr. Hirapara.
Yes. Generally, traffic rules are made for the safety of people and should be made keeping that in mind. But by taking this decision, which BJP has proved that their purpose behind collecting the fine has always been only to earn money and not the safety of the people. And this time the bigger purpose is election. Why? According to data by Union Ministry of Road, Transport and Highways, in terms of levying penalty, Gujarat is the second only to Uttar Pradesh. More than 100 crore rupees were collected through e-challan in 2019 by BJP-led Gujarat government. So at this time, this is purely an appeasement. And it has been taken keeping in mind the election only. If BJP really wants to give relief to people, give relief from inflation and unemployment. So many Diwalis have passed. But why did BJP take this decision only on this Diwali? Because BJP knows.
Mr. Pathania, please respond. Why it's still not making sense? Why this? You've had this month Cyrus Mistry lose his life in a road accident. You had the Road and Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari give extensive interviews about how seriously the government is taking this. Just this weekend, we had that horrific video of those young men speeding in a BMW, taking it up to 230 kilometers. Why would any government do this? In Gujarat is a dry state. Fine for drunken driving is what, 10,000? Are the underage kids going to be drinking and driving tonight because they know that ek hafte ke liye to sab kuch chalega?
Not like this, madam. There is another aspect of the affair also. We had been resorting to, we could say, vigorous findings and all that. Has this been able to deliver goods? Has this been able to put a final lid on the traffic rule violations? So this is a new innovation by the Gujarat Sarkar.
No. So then are you going against the central government, which in 2019 came up with that Motor Vehicles Amendment Act, where it substantially enhanced the fine for certain offences? If there's a fine, this is a crime, sir. So you're saying the Gujarat government is opposed to what the central government is doing?
Not at all.
Because Nitin Gadkari says seat belts for all. Maybe it's not working. Should we stop it?
We are not at all going against the stand of the central government. We are not at all contradicting the bold stand of the Nitin Gadkari ji also. For 7 days, a new innovation has been made that we will sensitize, we will condition the offending violators and try to put a sense of, we could say, confidence, a sense of responsibility on the violator. Nothing. Not to be seen with over-skewed skepticism. This is simply a new innovation. And I said there's a difference between retribution and punitiveness.
Mr. Hirapara, this is an innovation.
Punishment. Yes, that's an innovation.
This is an innovation coming at a time when you have Prime Minister Modi launching scathing attacks on revelry culture. This is an innovation, not a populist move, definitely not a dangerous move.
Not at all. I don't think for
Mr. Hirapara.
Actually, the viewers must be laughing on this statement because, as I said earlier, these rules are made for the safety of people. And if you really want to give relief to people, give relief from the real issues, give relief from inflation, give relief from unemployment.
We are giving, sir.
Why such small things? And why at this time? So many Diwalis have passed. Why now? So people are not going to be fools at this time. People understand all this and will teach BJP a stern lesson.
Mr. Pathania, may I just ask before I go into, this morning there was a horrific road accident. I think it was in Rewa in Madhya Pradesh, where the Prime Minister condoling those deaths. Then I think he announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees to be given to the kin of each deceased. 50,000 to be given to the injured. I mean, isn't this just counterproductive? On one hand, Prime Minister Modi says reverie culture is dangerous for India.
Not at all. I'll say it 10 times. In Jammu and Kashmir also, the propensity of accident is much higher also. So, impositions of fines, though this has been a sort of, we could say, a sort of fear to all such offending violators, and particularly young violators who are not so much economically affluent, that which prevents them from creating traffic rule violations every now and then. But it's a multi-pronged strategy upon which the government should embark upon. Identifying the black spots, then traffic rule management also, then the transport department's management also, then administration also collateral. That is something else. We are not at all soft on accidents. We are not at all soft on the Motor Vehicle Acts amendment. We are not at all soft on the new, we could say, the activism which have arisen on the field. And this is why I simply submit that this is simply a new innovation that even for a period of 7 days.
So if it's a new innovation, will you then try it beyond Diwali? If you're saying that, people weren't adhering to the rules or paying fines, or they weren't paying a fine wasn't a deterrent?
I'll just cite you an instance, Sarah. You might have seen in Jammu and Kashmir also, there was a self-imposed we could say moratorium by both the sides, from India as well as Pakistan, that they will not touch either fence. Was that India was complacent in Pakistan, or Pakistan was complacent to India also? This was with regard to militancy victims also in Jammu and Kashmir. They also launched a particular period for next 15 days, or for next, let us suppose, days preceding Eid, and we could say after 10 days Eid, we will not conduct any operations. So that's not the day that the Jammu and Kashmir Sarkar has gone soft on terrorism also. My point is, this is simply a new sort of, we could say, innovation brought by the Gujarat government. We should welcome it. If it succeeds, it may not succeed also. It may be a disastrous move. But let us see what results does it bring.
Let's see what results. Yes, it certainly would be fascinating to know, to monitor this and study the outcome of this, as you put it, innovation. Thank you both for joining us in this face-off on Left, Right and Centre. Good night. Have a safe Diwali, everyone. Bye-bye.